الحمد لله رب العالمين له الحمد الحسن والثناء الجميل وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له يقول الحق وهو يهدي السبيل وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Today inshaAllah ta'ala is going to be our last day with the introduction to Qawaidul fiqhiyyah. Today we're going to take the last two Qawaidul fiqhiyyah al-khamsah al-kubra. We're going to be taking inshaAllah ta'ala the 5 supreme legal maxims. We took, walillahi alhamdu wal minna, 3, and we got 2 more to go inshaAllah ta'ala, which we will take today. And once we finish those 2 qawaid, which are al-'adah muhakkama and al-dararu yuzal. Okay, ama la darara wa la dirar, both ways. Once we do those 2 qawaid, we're going to talk about how you can build yourself a library. If you want to start this science and you loved it and you want to study even more, what are the books that you should bring into your library? Those are the 3 things inshaAllah ta'ala that we will be taking today. So al-'adah muhakkama, we'll be taking that and we'll study that inshaAllah ta'ala. And the second one is al-dararu yuzal, ama la darara wa la dirar. And the third one is how can a student of knowledge who wants to embark on this science, who wants to learn it, what books can I bring to my library, and which one is the best for me to study, and etc. We'll conclude with that inshaAllah ta'ala. Let's go into the first one, which is al-'adah muhakkama. So first of all, what does it mean, al-'adah muhakkama? What does it actually mean? I wrote it on the board for you. It's written on the board. It is i'tibaru al-'adah hakaman. It is to consider the custom and the norms hakaman as a judgment. لإثبات حكم شرعي, to establish and to affirm a legal Islamic ruling. في المسائل الاجتهادية, in ijtihadi related issues. So when we hear the word ijtihadiyya, we already know what it means, right? There's no textual evidence for it. Al-murtabitatu bil-'urfi, that's connected to the 'urf. Let me go over it again. So al-'adah muhakkama, what does it mean? It is you're making hakaman, a judgment, to either affirm something like you would do for Islamic ruling. Like you could say this is, you can't do this and you can't do this. The thing that's going to now judge you is the 'adah, the customs of the people. In what, like in? Fil masail al-ijtihadiyya, in ijtihadi related issues that don't have textual evidences. There are no textual evidences for it. If there's a textual evidence, then no one talks. So are you with me, brothers? إذا ورد النص بطل القياس. If the textual evidence comes, no one can talk. No one can do analogy. We're talking about masail which are ijtihadiyya. Matters that don't have textual evidence for it, the custom, it can judge. Al-murtabita, which is connected to al-'urf. So look, we did something here. We mentioned 'urf, and what we're talking about is what? 'adah, right? So what's the difference between 'urf and 'adah? That's a good question, right? So the second point is al-'alaqatu bayna al-'urfi wal-'adah. The relationship between 'urf and what? 'adah. What is the difference between 'urf and 'adah? Because sometimes it's interchangeably used. Some scholars, they took the opinion that 'urf and 'adah is at-taraduf. They are synonyms. At-taraduf means what? They are synonyms of one another. They're interchangeably used, as they're the same meaning. No problem. 'Urf and 'adah mean the same. Are we all together, brothers? Another group of scholars, they said no. Urf and aada, there are difference. At-tabayun. There's a difference between urf and what? And aada. There are difference. When they said there's a difference, what is the difference between the two? The ones that said it's different, that the urf is different from aada, they took two views. The ones who said it's different, they took two views amongst themselves. Some of them, they said that the aada, some scholars, they took that the aada is the actions. The aada is the what? It's the actions. And the urf is the speech. And another group of scholars, they said, no, the aada is used when it's either a small number of people or whether it's one individual. And that the urf is only for one individual. Are we all together? So, the urf is only one person. They took two views, right? What was the first view that I mentioned? That the aada is af'al, right? Actions. And the urf is speech. That's one difference. Another group of scholars, they say, no, the difference is not that. The difference is that the aada is what? One person and a jama'ah, a group of people. Of course, that group can't be too much, just a group of people. And the urf is, this was the mistake I did, the urf is a group. Just a group. It can't be one person. Now, let's understand, digest the information that I just said. So we want to understand. Urf is custom, people's adat, people's customs. It can be a judgment when the Quran and the Sunnah do not give a judgment. We always give this example, and this is the easiest for people to understand. Allah tells us in the Quran to the married couples, Allah says to them, وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ Ma'ruf. Live with each other in ma'ruf. Ma'ruf is urf. Live with each other in urf. The Sharia didn't tell you how to look after your wife in the sense, it didn't say to you, you have to give her this much money every month, and this is the kind of house that she needs to live in, and in the living room of that house it has to have these windows. No. It didn't say that, did it? No, it didn't. And that she has to have 3 meals every day, and she doesn't, you haven't fulfilled her rights. It didn't say that. All of that goes back to the custom. The custom is what's going to judge. We're going to go back to what? The urf, the aada. This is very important to know now. Does that make sense? But what issues are they used for? Al-masail al-ijtihadiyya, ijtihadi related issues. I mean, there's no text for this issue. And later we're going to take mahallu i'tibari, the places what we consider urf as a judgment, and the places that we don't, we'll speak about it in this point. But does everybody understand the definition? Now there's two words that are interchangeably used, which is al-urf and al-ada. Sah? They're interchangeably used. Some people they call it urf, and some people call it ada. The scholars, they said that the urf and the ada are the same. Taraduf, stop wasting people's times. It's just one thing, easy. Another group of scholars said, they said no. At-tabayun. At-tabayun means what? They're not synonyms. They're actually different to each other. So the question is, then what's the difference? The ones who said they are different to each other broke into two groups. Are we all together? One group of them, they said that the ada is a what? Af'al, it's actions, right? And the urf is what? Speech. Inshallah ta'ala, when we come here, speech and action, we'll understand what that means, okay? Bear with me. We're going to come to, when we come here, mawdu'uh, you'll understand what we mean by when we say urf speech and ada speech or whatever, we'll speak about it here. Okay? It'll come. And another group of scholars said, no, that's not the difference between the two. The difference is what? That the aada is one or a jama'ah, correct? And the urf is what? Just a jama'ah. Those are the two differences. Well, yeah, that's a good way. That is, mashallah, sah, correct. Sahih. Habit and more like a custom, sah. Yeah, sahih. Now we're going to go into the third point, which is taqsimatul urf. How is urf broken down? Categorization of al-urf. Categorization of al-urf. We're going to break it into four. The first one is mawdu'uhu, what it deals with. Okay? Urf is only two types. When it comes in, if you break all of urf down, and what it deals with is either speech or action. That's what the customs of the people are. It's either a speech or it's a what? It's an action. The speech, for example, can be a people, they call something, they know it as this. Like the Arabs, the urf of theirs is that the walad is known as the what? The boy. And the girls call it bint. Like in the Quran doesn't do that. The Quran calls it what? Yusikumullahu fi awladikum. Awlad is the plural of walad. Is it only talking about the boy? It's talking about both. Pay attention to that. Like in the custom of the people has become, are we all together? That this is become their norms. They use the word walad as a boy and that bint as a girl. Does that make sense? That's speech. Am I making sense here? Customs. You all know different customs. The second is fi'li. Fi'li is something that just happens. This is what people do. It's just their norm. This is the norms of the people. This is their norms. For example, bay'ul mu'atat, the scholars call it. Which is somebody comes, they like a product. Okay? How much does it cost? And the person goes, this is how much it costs. He doesn't say anything. He didn't say, give it to me. He didn't say, I want to buy it from you. He just gives the money, and the other one takes the money, puts the money in the cashier. This action that's happening, custom means I like it and I'm taking it. Sahih? Correct? This person doesn't say, ijab, I'm giving this to you. Qabiltu, I've accepted it. On the price that you've given it to me. None of that he has to do. Does that make sense? The fact that he took it and the other one took the money, that is a custom. That's what custom is. Fi'liyun, it's action based. No one's talking. Are we all together, brothers? Sahibuhu means the people who are doing it. The people who are doing the urf can either be am, general, or it can be khas, specific. It's something that's generally over the board. This is what it's known as. I'm just trying to show you examples. Yeah, this is called an iPad, right? General? Anywhere else? Any other name for it? Tablet? That's all. But everybody, if you said everybody tablet, all over the world they use it. Tablet or they just call it iPad. iPad is more for iPhone, right? Let's not go. Tablet. I think that's a general word. Everyone uses it as tablet, correct? That's the am. Over the board, wherever you go, I have a tablet, I'm using my tablet, everybody understands what you mean. And there's a khas. I'm just trying to give you examples that I can think of. Like for example, in UK, in America, they call trousers pants. Sah? In the UK, we call pants underwear. Underwear is a pants, sah? Sah? So it's a problem. That's urf khas for them. Different from us. It's not general, over the board. Does that make sense? So if a quarrel happens in America, in front of a qadi, and he goes, he stole my pants, and this, in UK it happens, this quarrel in front of the qadi, which one is he going to judge it on? Urf of the UK, pants is not. Huh? Do you see my point? There's difference. We're going to be trousers. Am I making sense, brothers? Ha. The urf, when you look at it in terms of qabuluhu, in terms of its acceptance, or whether it's accepted or rejected, That's another categorization. It can be sahih or it can be fasid. What does it mean accepting or... Some customs, when the boy wants to get married to the woman or the woman wants to get married to the boy, they go out, they have a meal, they go to a restaurant, they eat, they sit together, they get to know each other. The father would say to go with him, and he would go, and the family would put them together, and they would go out for a week, and then come and they say, we want to get married. هذا عرف باطل فاسد. That urf is fasid, corrupt. But you can't say, but we do this, it's normal, it's our culture. Yeah, but this culture is fasid because it goes against what? It goes against the Sharia. So this is fasidul i'tibar. It's corrupted. Are we all together, brothers? Are we all together? This was corrupt. We don't accept it. We don't, even if it's a custom for a people, this custom is what? It's evil. Are we all together? Or another custom which is sahih, which is the ones I gave you already. The customs that people do that I already mentioned to you. Many customs that people do that are sahih. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. Are we all together? And the asl for the people's norms, the adat, the asl for it is permissibility. Remember we took that before. The asl for the people's customs is that it's permissible until there's a text that shows otherwise. So, sahih. If it doesn't go against the Quran or the Sunnah and it doesn't show it's haram, then we accept that custom and we do it. Are we all together, brothers? What about if it's a custom for a people, for the man to shave and to go to a job shaved and no beard or anything? That custom is what? Fasid. It's corrupt. But that's not custom. The Sharia came and gave a ruling for this issue. Does that make sense, brothers? But you have to groom yourself. Yeah, groom yourself. Islam doesn't say make yourself look good, but don't touch your beard. Okay, sahih and fasid. You all understand that, right? Now we're going to go into madal amali bihi inda ahlihi. Okay, in terms of implementation. This is very important that you learn it. It's very important that you understand it. Madal amali bihi. In terms of acting upon this. The scholars, they divide the urf into 4 types. One that's muttarid, that always happens. This custom is always happens. For example, if you go to a shop and you want to buy an iPhone, what's the condition? It has to be sealed, it has to be in a box, correct? That's urf everywhere. Does that make sense? If they give you, what about an iPhone that's open? Yeah? It's wrong. It's muttarid. We say this is muttarid. What is it? It's muttarid. So you can return it and say, give me back my money because it was open. But he'll say to you, whoa. And even if it's open, there's no problem with it. You say you went against the qa'idah muttarida. You went against the continuous reality, which is that it has to be sealed and closed. Sah? This is the times that urf comes into place. He's going against the norms that's always taking place. He can't give you crisps. You guys call it crisp? You guys call it chips. You know what I mean, crisp? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. I'm not talking about the chips. We call chips the fries. Fries for us is chips. And crisp is what? The one that's in Doritos. Doritos is crisp for us. Anyways, if the British say it's crisp, then you have to take it. That's where the language came from. Anyways, the crisp, the chips, if it's given to you and it's not sealed, that's a problem. They have to. There's no dalil in the Quran and the Sunnah you're going to find it in. You're going to use al-'ada al-muttarida. The continuous qa'idah, the continuous norms was that it has to be sealed. If you go home and you see open, you bring it back. It has to give you back the money. It's like it's faulted. Are we all together? The second one is ghalib. Ghalib. Ghalib means majority of the time. This is what happens. I'll give you an example of that. You're in a country, like in the UK. Okay? In the UK, what kind of calendar do we use? Let's forget the UK. We're not in the UK. We're in UAE. Dubai. What's the calendar for this country? Is it the Gregorian they use here? Which one's the Gregorian or the Hijri? The Gregorian. Ajib. I was going to say Hijri. Okay, is that the highest? Is it high? Huh? Huh? So if two people argue right now, I bought this product from him and I took it from him a month ago. Okay? A month ago. And this is the product. Or I took it from him a period of time and they argue with each other. And he said, bring it back to me. You don't have to pay me anything. I give you reassurance that my product is good. 1 month you can come back. Whether it's permissible or not, put that aside for me. 1 month. Which 1 month are we going to use, the Gregorian or the Hijri? We look at the country, the ada, the custom. If the overwhelming majority of the times they use the Gregorian calendar, then that's what rules them. And if what they use majority of the times it's what? If it's the Hijri, which they should do, then that's what? Are we all together, brothers? The calculation we're going to go back to? We're going to go back to what's the overwhelming majority. Musawin is when it's equal. It's equal. Like for example, some countries in the world, the dollars and their country's currency is used same. Like it's literally the same. They can buy with that currency, you can buy with dollars. So, there are some countries like that. If there happens a problem later, it's a problem. These two types, the ada doesn't work here. The ada only works when it's mutarid or ghalib. Ghalib means majority of the times. And then mutarid means when it's always. Like in musawin means when they're both the same. The dollars and this country's currency are used 50-50. The ada can't work here. How can it distinguish one from the other? Are we all together? And the fourth one is nadir, rare. This doesn't really even happen. It rarely happens. It rarely occurs. It rarely happens. The ada doesn't come into place in this issue. Like for example, no one would say, for example, nobody would use it except in a rare circumstances it will occur. You guys can think of better examples than I can. Does that make sense? Musawi means equal. The custom here, both things are both the same, 50-50. Like example I gave, using dollars and the country's currency is actually the same. To be honest, the country I had in mind is my own country, Somalia. The dollars and the country's currency is the same. So, it's the same. You can buy and sell with dollars in the shop, and this country's currency is the same. Actually, to be honest, people prefer the dollars, but it's used interchangeably. Okay, what's the evidence for this qa'idah? What's the evidence for it? The evidence is for قوله تعالى خذ العفو, take forgiveness with you, وَأْمُرُ بِالْعُرْفِ, Muhammad, command them the urf. Command them the urf. وَأْمُرُ بِالْعُرْفِ, command them the urf. Sahih? Remember, you all know the story of Hinda bint Utbah. You know Hinda, right? The wife of Abu Sufyan. Hinda, do you all know her? She came to the Prophet, she said, Ya Rasulullah, my husband Abu Sufyan is a very stingy man. She said that to the Prophet. She said, he's a very stingy man, he doesn't give me anything. The messenger said to her, go and take money from him. مَا يَكْفِيكِ, that which will suffice you and your children, بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. He didn't say to her, take this much. He didn't give her a limit and an amount that she needs to take. He said, whatever you and your children need, based on the custom, بالمعروف, urf. Go back to the urf. Whatever the women of your caliber, are we all together? And the women of your, whatever they live on, take that from him, even if he doesn't want to give it to you. Because that's your rights. Take it from him. Fifth. The fifth point that we want to mention, inshallah ta'ala, is شروط اعتبار العرف. What are the conditions for us to consider the urf in the first place? When can we say, let's use urf? Urf is evidence here. When can we say it? The first one is عدم مخالفته الشرع. It can't go against the Sharia. If it's going against the Sharia, I gave you the example. The boy and the girl go out and they have a meal and they have a romantic night together. Just all this because we want to get to know each other. And that's our custom. That's how we've been doing it for decades and centuries. Then the answer to that is, it goes against the Sharia. What does it do? It goes against the Sharia. It's not allowed. The second condition for us to accept the urf and even take it into consideration is اضطراده أو غلبته. It has to be مضطرد or غالب. اضطراده here means it's always happening. Or it's غالب. So the overwhelming majority of times, this is what happens. This is the second condition. We don't take the musawin and the nadir into consideration. If the urf is equal, then no one's going to look at it. No one's going to give it consideration. Or if it rarely happens, then it's not going to be given consideration. It has to be something that's always happening in the community and it's known and this is the custom, or the overwhelming majority of the situations, this is what happens. That's when it is taken into consideration. And the third one is عدم التصريح بخلافه. Again, American person goes, Americans, what do they mean by pants again? They mean trousers, right? If he says, he took my pants, i.e. my underwear, this is now sarih, he spoke it directly what he means by pants. If that happens, we're not going to take the custom into consideration. Are we all together, brothers? Because he clearly spoke what he intended. Does that make sense? If he just says, an American says, oh, he took my pants, straight away, don't take it as underwear like you would do in the UK. Take it as a trousers. Are we all together? But what about if he says, he took my pants, i.e. my underwear? Then now he's what? He's clearly told us what he meant by it. We don't go back to the custom now. Are we all together? We don't take it into consideration. He went against the custom of the Americans. Am I making sense here, brothers? Yes? No? Those are the main three, inshallah ta'ala. Other scholars mentioned many more, I didn't want to go into it. Number 6. محل اعتبار العادة. The place when ada is used. ما ورد مطلقا. When there's an unrestricted statement from the Quran, from the Kitab or the Sunnah. وَلَمْ يَرِدْ لَهُ ضَابِطٌ. And there's no other way to restrict this meaning. There's no other way to implement this meaning. في الشرع ولا في اللغة. Nothing in the Sharia and nothing in the Arabic language. There isn't. And I gave you examples, which is, how do you look after your wife and whatnot? That goes back to the urf, right? Are we all together, brothers? It changes. From time to time, it will change. You don't know. So dabit here means there's no principle from the Sharia or principles from the Arabic language that specifies it. So then we go back to the urf. Remember, brothers, pay attention. It's very important. It'll save you a lot of time. If a word comes, it has to have 3 realities. One of 3 realities. It's either in the Arabic language, which is fil lugha, or it's defined by the Sharia, or it's al-urf. That's all you have to remember. For example, the word al-layl and al-nahar. Where are you going to go back to in the Quran? وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ, the night. What does the night mean? It's the Arabic language. You just go to the Arabic language. The Arabic language defines, wherever you see layl and nahar and shamsu al-qamar, you don't need to go to the Sharia, you don't need to go to the urf. The Arabic language, you just go to the language, right? Shara defines the word. Like as-salah. Salah is defined by the Sharia. We don't care what it means in the Arabic language, or we don't care what it means. No. Salah means this definition in the Sharia. Does it make sense? And the third one is, the Sharia did not define it. It's not in the Arabic language. It goes back to the custom, And that's what I was telling you all day. Are we all together, brothers? Just go. There's no definition. Al-mu'asharatu bayna zawjayn. The living between the two spouses. It goes back to the urf. It goes back to urf. Another example is the word as-safar, traveling. The language cannot define it for you. The Sharia didn't define it for you. Where does it go back to? وَالْعُرْفُ مَعْمُولٌ بِهِ إِذَا وَرَدْ حُكْمٌ مِّنَ الشَّرِيعِ فِي لَمْ يُحَدْ. So you go back to the people's custom, and they will tell you what it means, traveling for us. That's traveling. That's not traveling. Are we all together, brothers? Good. So it's anything that the Sharia didn't define it, and it's not in the Arabic language, you go to the urf, the customs. You go to the custom. Now we're going to go into qawaid mundarija, principles that fall under al-'ada muhakkama. Okay? Principles that fall under it. The first one is al-ma'rufu urfan kal-mashruti shartan. Anything that's known in the Sharia. Anything that's known by the custom, established. In the custom it's known. It's like you and I gave each other a condition on this. Kal-mashruti shartan. Is a person allowed to break his promise and his condition? If I say to you, brother, I'm going to get you a car that's like this, and I promise you it's going to have all of this, and I have to give you what I promised you. Sahih? Are we all together, brothers? The same is the urf, the custom. The way it is like a condition. Just like I told you before. iPhone, they'll give you a phone that's packaged, sealed. It's like they said to you, I promise you, our condition is it's going to be a sealed phone. It's the same. Because the custom is that you have to give me a sealed phone. Does that make sense? Al-ma'rufu urfan, anything that's known in the custom to be a way, is like you both took a condition with each other. It's the same. And we know taking a condition with each other, everyone has to fulfill it, correct? Are we all together? Like for example, some of the people when they're marrying off a woman, they said, أُزَوِّجُكَ فُلَانَ بِنْتِ فُلَانَ عَلَى مَهْرٍ قَدْرُهَا كَذَا وَكَذَا. I'm going to marry you off to so and so. With a dowry, the money of the dowry is this much. And then they carry on saying, إِمْسَاكٌ بِمَعْرُوفٍ أَوْ تَصْرِيحٌ بِإِحْسَانٍ. To be with her in good, or to what? To keep her in good and take care of her in good, or to what? Or to let her go in good if you don't want her. That's some of the shuyukhs what they do when they marry a boy off to a girl. They don't need to do that. Because the customs already told us that the woman has to be taken care of in a particular way. It's like he already agreed to it. Does that make sense? There's no need to take a shart and a condition with all of that. It's already known by the urf, the custom of the people. Does that make sense? Yes? No? The conditions and the customs are the same. That's all it's telling you here. Number 2 is you cannot reject the changing of a ruling because of the changing of the time. Because the custom changed. At the time of Imam al-Bukhari and others, for a person to be walking outside and drinking, hadith wasn't taken from him. It was Qawaidul muru'ah. It went against the customs of the people. It was looked down at. A'udhu billah, you're walking outside, you're eating, you're drinking. Is that the case now? I don't know about this country. But no, it's not. If I say walking and he's eating and stuff, maybe it is, Allah Alam. But I'm saying things do change over time. What was once upon a time seen bad may not be seen necessarily bad. Are we all together, brothers? It will not be seen bad after. Because the custom has changed. What has changed? The custom has changed. The custom has changed. Okay? That's important. This goes around the urf and the custom of the people. If the custom changes, as long as that custom is not what? Does it go against the what? It can't go against the dalil and what we mentioned. It can't go oppose the evidences and whatnot. The third one is al-kitabu kal-khitab. Writing is like saying. To write something is like saying it. Because in terms of custom, are we all together, brothers? Can you not send your resignation letter by email? Huh? Can you send a resignation? You can resignation. Is it resignation? Resignation, sorry. Resignation. Resignation. And you resign from your work. And you send it by email. Is it accepted? It's accepted. Urf, custom is there, fine. Or you fax it. It's like you said it. The qadi is going to say it, yes, because the custom is that it's the same. So we say al-kitabu kal-khitab. Writing is like, it's like saying it. Divorcing your wife over WhatsApp, is it going to happen? Of course it's going to happen. It's the same. Are we all together, brothers? It's the same. It will take place. Those are the examples, or those are some principles that fall under Qawaid mundarija. Principles that fall under Al-Ada Muhakkama. Now we're going to go into the last and final legal maxim, which is La darara wa la dirar. I forgot the ra, right? La darara wa la dirar. What does it mean, la darara wa la dirar? It means to remove harm before it even happens, or at the beginning, or removing it after it's already happened. In simple terms, that's what it is. It's to remove evil before it happens or after it happens. Okay, that's what it means. What's the evidence for this qa'idah? Daliluha. What's the evidence? It's based on the hadith of Sunan ibn Majah. Some scholars, they weakened it, others didn't. But the meaning is what? Sahih thabit. Which is, la darara, there is no harm. You can't harm yourself and you can't harm others. La darara wa la dirar. You cannot harm yourself and nor can you harm others. You're not allowed to. Very good. That's the dalil for it. What is al-qawaid al-mundarija? The qawaid that fall under it. I only chose 2 qa'idah because there's many we can choose. Is ad-dararu yudfa'u biqadri al-imkan. If evil comes, you have to stop it biqadri al-imkan, however much you're able to. Remember, the evil, sometimes you can fully remove it. What can you do? You can fully get rid of it. And sometimes what can you do? You can reduce it. What can you do? You reduce it. You have to do what you can. Okay? Remember, removing evil, when you're removing evil, I'm going to mention it here, don't worry. Pay attention here now. Brothers, are we together? A brother goes, he says, look, Shaykh, hey, in the UK, there's a nightclub. Hey, I want to go there and I want to give a little reminder to the people going to the club. Udhakiruhum billah. I want to remind them of Allah, the day of judgment. I want to take many people away from the door. Hey, what's the ruling? My answer is, daf'ul mafasidi awla min jalb al-masalih. What does this brother want to do? What's his intent? His intent is to bring people to guidance. We'll say, first of all, think about repelling the evil. The evil that's going to come is what we have to push away before thinking about bringing people to guidance. And what is the evil that we need to repel? You are probably going to go into that club and start dancing and are we all together, brothers? So repelling the evil takes precedence over what? Over thinking about bringing good. People always just look at the good that they're going to bring. ولذلك there's a very evil concept that people push, which is الغاية تبرر الوسيلة. that the goal justifies the means. What did they say? The the end justifies the means. Ooh, that goes fully against the Quran and Sunnah. Are we all together? It doesn't. Hooks or crooks, I need to get there, I need to do this, I need to this, I need to that. As long as the ends is good. No. Our religion is the opposite, which is repelling the evil and getting rid of it. Takes precedence over what? Thinking about, before even thinking about bringing good. Remember, when you want to repel evil and you want to get rid of evil, what do you have to get rid of, brothers? You have to try to get rid of it with something evil less than it. So there's a harm. If the way that you're going to push this harm away is going to bring a harm greater than it, is not permissible. You saw a brother drinking khamar, drinking it fast, enjoying himself in Ramadan, khamar, he's drinking it. And you went and you slapped the khamar out of his hand. And he picked up a gun and he shot you in the head. And then he went and shot your family. Hey, isn't that greater harm? Is it not a greater harm? Huh? It's a greater harm. So you trying to stop an evil brought a greater evil. Are we all together, brothers? ولذلك Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, at his time something happened. There was the leaders of his time, they used to drink khamar. They used to drink khamar, a lot of khamar. Some of the scholars at that time, they tried to write letters and rasail and things to the leaders telling them, stop drinking the khamar. Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, fanahahum. He stopped the people from writing towards those leaders about the khamar. He said, leave them alone. Let them drink the khamar. And why? He said, because when they drink the khamar, they don't kill anyone, and killing is greater than the drinking of the khamar. They're now busy with themselves and they're drunk all day. See, he weighed the masalih and the mafasid. It's to think. When you see an evil, it's not enough to say, Wallahi, I saw an evil, I have to remove this evil. No. Remember, you can't bring a greater evil or even equal to it. Even equal to it, you're not allowed to. It has to be what? Either to reduce it, or what? Or fully get rid of it. Are we all together, brothers? And wallahi, many of us cannot determine where the harm is greater or not. We can't see that. Are we all together, brothers? So we leave it for the seniors, those who are older in age and knowledge. We've finished. Walillahi alhamdu wal minna. Praises to Allah alone. We have taken the 5 al-Qawaid al-Khamsat al-Kubra. If you memorize those 5 Qawaid al-Khamsat al-Kubra, and you really, brothers, read into it more, I promise you, you will truly enjoy how the religion is, the Sharia, the way it's set. I was going to give you guys a maktaba on a library and your maktaba, but I'm just going to tell you one book I think that if you all buy, it'll suffice you. It's one book. It's one of the best books I believe that's written now for all of you guys that can benefit these 5 legal maxims. It's Qawaidul. It's called Al-Qawaid al-Fiqhiyyah al-Kubra, something like that. And the author is Sheikh Salih al-Sadlan. Sheikh Salih ibn Ghanim al-Sadlan. If you buy his one, on the 5 legal maxims. So it's Sheikh, the author is Salih ibn Ghanim al-Sadlan. He recently died. Does anyone know of him? Rahimahullah rahmatan wasi'ah. He came and visited us in the UK a couple of times. Sheikh Salih ibn Ghanim, Nim, with Mim, Sadlan, As-Sadlan. Sheikh Salih As-Sadlan is called, they call him. He was a blind sheikh. And he authored a book in the Qawaid al-Khamsat al-Kubra, the 5. And what he did, that I have not seen anyone else do, and that's my knowledge. Wal ilmu indallah, knowledge is with Allah. He wrote the 5 legal maxims. He gave examples for it, And all of these قواعد المندرجة تحته, he brought just about every one that can fall possibly under it. Little can someone find and add something to there that he hasn't already mentioned. Are we all together about this? He mentions all of the قواعد المندرجة. When he mentions the qa'idah, all the qawaid that fall under it, he mentions there. Very beneficial, buy it. Read it. Because these 5 are unanimously agreed upon by all of the madhahibs. Of course, the application is different, but it's agreed upon. And so if you start with what is agreed upon, you can make your way to what is differed upon, right? And that's a stepping stone to studying Qawaid al-fiqhiyyah like that. Does that make sense? And I also encourage you all, to memorize the kitab written by Sheikh Abdul Rahman ibn Nasir al-Sa'di. His little Qawaid book is very little, but if you memorize it, it helps you sometimes to just use it. I encourage you all to memorize it. And if you see in yourself, Abdul Rahman ibn Nasir al-Sa'di, he has a kitab in Qawaid al-Fiqhiyyah. He mentions in the beginning, he said, احرص على فهمك للقواعد جامعة المسائل الشواردي لترتقي في العلم خير مرتقى وتقتفي سبل الذي قد وفق وهذه قواعد نظمتها من كتب أهل العلم حصلتها. It's a nice 37 lines, 38 lines, 39 lines, something like that. Easy to memorize. Easy, 2 or 3 days you can finish it. Keep in mind, if you see in yourself more enthusiasm, you're like, I can do better. This book is too small. I want to go in. I like the science. Then I would encourage you to memorize a kitab that's called Al-Fara'id. It's called Al-Manzumatul Fadfari. Al-Manzumatul Fadfari. I think it's Fadfari, Wow. You know what's amazing? This book is very good. The scholar who wrote it is an Indian sheikh. He's a what? His name is called Anwar Shah Al-Fadfari. He's alive, he's still alive. Okay? Some of you guys thought I was going to say Anwar Shah Al-Kashmiri. No, it's Anwar Shah Al-Fadfari. He's alive. Is it? He's got a fiqh book, but not the poetry of this one. Wow, okay. If it's in English, share it with us, inshallah. You know what they did, subhanAllah? He was a Shafi'i. I heard he left Shafi'iyah. Why? And then he became a Hanbali. And he did a poetry for them. Are we all together, brothers? He did a poetry for the Hanbali madhab. And it's now become the book that they apply in the memorization of Haramain, Makkah and Medina. They memorize it in Dar al-Hadith al-Khayriyah. They memorize his poetry of the Hanbali madhab. Rather, it's one of the best texts to memorize in the Hanbali madhab. Are we all together, brothers? Am I making sense? Rather, he has another kitab called, another manzuma in grammar. Amazing. It's called Thulathiyat. Amazing. Very good. Very mudaqiq, this man. It's called Thulathiyat. Ala kulli hal, after you finish memorizing Qawaid al-Fiqhiyyah by Sheikh Abdul Nasir al-Sa'di, go for the Manzumatul Fadfari by this author. And he's doing a lot. He's doing a lot of poetry of a lot of books. Very good. Very good. A lot of people just miss it because he's still alive. People just like somebody who's dead, right? Gone long. But these ones are very good. Very good, wallahi. If you still see, you know what, I can even do more. I don't want to stop. Then I encourage you to memorize Al-Fara'id al-Bahiyya fi al-Masail al-Fiqhiyyah. Al-Fara'id al-Bahiyya by Al-Ahdal. Al-Fara'id al-Bahiyya. It's called what? Al-Fara'id al-Bahiyya. I encourage you to do that. The reason why I didn't tell you guys to remember Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen's one, because it's got Qawaid Fiqhi and Qawaid al-Usuliyya emerged. It's not separated it from one another properly. Are we all together, brothers? Yeah. Al-Ahdal. He originally, this poetry is taken from the Al-Ashbah wal-Nadha'ir al-Suyuti. You know Suyuti is Ashbah wal-Nadha'ir? Al-Ashbah wal-Nadha'ir by Suyuti. Jalaluddin al-Suyuti, he wrote the kitab Al-Ashbah wal-Nadha'ir. Ahdal came and he turned it, the whole book, into poetry. And this is like basically the last book that you can memorize, to be honest. Once you do this, it's all there. It's all there. Don't worry. You have it all. The rest is just your reading and your studying and you're going over books here and there and increasing in your understanding. But everything else is, inshallah ta'ala, it's with you. And that's the real knowledge, brothers. The real knowledge that you can claim is yours is what's in your العلم ما حواه الصدر وليست ما حواه القمطر. Knowledge is what's in the chest, not what's in the papers. صح? Those are the books that I will encourage you. I will encourage you all to try to. If you can't and you don't want to memorize all of that because of whatever reason, at least memorize Sa'di's one. Abdurrahman Nasir Sa'di's one, at least memorize that. That's a must for every student of knowledge. Must. Are you with me, brothers? Because you just want to memorize, remember each qa'idah, how it was. And he did that for you. The main qawa'id. The best explanation I have seen, my humble opinion, for Sa'di's tafsir, explanation, Sa'di's explanation, Qawa'id by Sa'di, the best explanation I have seen, the best, is Sheikh Sa'ad Nasir Shithri. Sheikh Sa'ad Nasir Shithri, his explanation on the Qawaid al-Fiqhiyyah by Sa'di is the best. Best. It's on YouTube and it's PDF, and it's actually a book now. They made it into a real book. Anyone who wants it, I can download, I can email it to you. It's PDF, it's online. Are we all together, brothers? Any questions?
What's the best tahqiq for all the books?
Yeah?
What's the best tahqiq for all the books?
The Manzumatul Fadfari, I don't know. Manzumatul Fadfari, I just downloaded one from the internet. I'm trying to memorize it myself. I recently came across it. So there's just one online I saw, and I just started to memorize it. I don't know the publication for it. I've never seen it before. Like in Al-Fara'id al-Bahiyya, I think Darul Asima published it. I might be wrong, but I think I saw Darul Asima's publication. And Darul Asima, they're good with their publications. Any other questions? Faddal. Maybe, yeah. Maybe, yes, it's true. It may be possible. It could be. I would have to really understand the reality of that situation in order to say, yes, this is correct. Yeah, does that make sense? Huh?
When you have two customs in a situation that's together, so which one do you choose? How do you prefer one over the other?
And they're equal.
Let's say like you're married to an Arab and then British, someone from British. How do you choose on how to behave with each other based on which?
No, the custom is not the culture, the background the person is necessarily from, it's where they live at that current moment. Huh? If an Indian lives in the UK, you don't say, well, you're from India, I'm going to give you 200 ruby. You know? I have to say, brother, the UK is 2,000 pounds. Sorry. It's the country. Like in some scholars, they say, if you marry a rich woman from a rich background, her father's rich, she's from a a'ila dha malin, the urf for her is the way that you married her in. You can't say to her, hey, listen, my family, we sleep on the floor. That's how we do it. And she used to sleep on a queen size bed by herself. That's how her family raised her, and that's how she always were. Some scholars, they hold the opinion, like Shaykh al-Islam and others, that you cannot reduce her from that status. And they put it under al-ma'rufu urfan kal-mashruut shartan. It's like you agreed with that girl when you were getting married to her. Huh? that you're going to take care of her like that. Be careful who you get married to, brother. Yeah. Huh? No, when it comes low, you have to, then it becomes a standard. No, the Sharia puts it up. It says to you, no, like every one of her peer. Like, and if she's high, can't put it down. Yeah. It's the country. That's the strongest opinion, that the custom is based on the country and that country that you live in. No. If a man method and marries a sister, like recently consultation session, some sister goes, I got married. My husband didn't even tell me how much the dowry was. I said, don't worry, your dowry is whatever woman is given to in the country that you're living in. I said, who? It's the custom. I said, he forgot. No problem. Now it's going to be told what it is going to be. Huh? Custom. Hey, yeah? No, not talking about Tawheed is what's the greatest evil. You see, pay attention here. Yeah, pay attention to this, brothers. The evil are types. And the masalih are types. There's a maslaha called maslaha khalisa. Maslaha khalisa means this maslaha is pure. There's no evil in it at all. And that's Tawheed. Nothing can go over that. Maslaha is always higher than any and everything. Does that make sense? There's a second thing in the Sharia, the maslaha, and there's also mafsada in there, like jihad. Jihad, there's a maslaha and there's a mafsada in there as well. It's not pure. What's the mafsada? Children becoming orphans. That's a mafsada. Are we all together, brothers? It's a mafsada. Does it make sense? That's why the jihad gets permitted if with the Sharia context, if the maslaha is rajihah, then it becomes permissible. Because that blood going, and those children becoming orphans, and then it's rajihah. Does that make sense? So nothing can surpass Tawheed. Maslaha is khalis. And shirk, which is opposite, its mafsada is khalis. Its mafsada is what? Pure mafsada. There's no good in shirk whatsoever. Sahih? Like in jihad, the maslaha and the mafsada, which one is more? When it's sanctioned correctly, the maslaha is rajiha. There's more maslaha. Khamar, there's maslaha in there. Why not? There's benefit in there. Are we all together, brothers? But which one's more? Mafsada is more. Does that make sense? يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر من نفعهما. نفع, Allah mentioned there's benefit in the khamr. But the mafsad is higher. So we get rid of that. Does that make sense? So Tawheed, speaking about it, is pure maslaha. Nothing can surpass that. Are we all together? Yeah. Like sometimes the maslaha could be, not to mention Muhammad Abdul Wahab. Maslaha. Or Ibn Taymiyyah. It could be a maslaha. The name could be a maslaha, not the concept. Sahih. Ripping the first page of Kitab al-Tawheed and the other side of Kitab al-Tawheed and saying, Assalamu alaikum, brothers, I'm going to teach you guys a book. And you keep it like that. Is it maslaha? Sometimes it can be a maslaha. Sahih? Like not Tawheed. Tawheed has to be taught. Yeah? Any other questions?